Guys, welcome to Mr. Investor Real Estate Dojo. Okay, in this module, what we're going to be talking about is what to do whenever you get to the appointment of the seller. All right. So one of the most important things, I know we talked about this already, is that you need to build rapport with the seller. What does that really mean? Look at the old episode, but I'll go ahead over to you quickly again. Okay, building rapport with the seller is the most important thing. Let me emphasize that it's the most important thing, guys. Forget about the numbers. Forget about the pictures of the house. Forget about everything you may have learned. What I'm telling you is that what you want to do is build rapport with the seller. So when you get to the house, you know, what I do is I knock on the door, I introduce myself, I give them my business card, says, you know, I'm Mike with Mr. Investor, I give them my business card, okay? And then I ask them, hey, do I have permission to come into your house? Okay? Because I just don't want to walk in there, okay? And I want to let them know that I'm a considerate guy, because I am a considerate guy, okay? Once they give me permission, once I'm in, I say, hey, Mr. Seller, do you mind giving me a tour of the house? Okay? And if I have anything in my hands, I say, do you mind if I put it here? So everything's cool. Then we start touring the house, okay? While I'm touring the house, I'm having the seller explain things about the house, you know, if there's any problems, you know, what upgrades they've done, you know, things of that nature, okay? While she's explaining that, or he's explaining, or what I am doing is looking at the house and writing down the repairs the house may need. For example, I look around to see if there's any cracks on the wall. I look around and see if all the doors close, because if the doors don't close or there's a hard time closing, then there may be foundational problems. And in Texas, guys, majority of houses here have foundational problems, all right? So it's not abnormal. Now, while we're walking to the halls, walking to the rooms, I'm talking to her, I'm writing my notes down, what needs to be done, looking for things that need to be done when I buy the house. I am looking for information that the seller says, or I am looking for things on the wall, or books, or fitness equipment, or things that I could have similarities with the seller, and I instantly reach out, take time, and start talking about those things with the seller. And I'm not even worried about how long it's going to take or anything like that. All I'm caring about is me bonding with the seller and having her or him like me. All right? And that's the most important thing, guys. I can't emphasize this. That's why I'm taking so much time, because if you're new, or you're scared, or you don't have sales experience, or you have no negotiation experience, or you know you work in a cubicle most of your life, well, guys, you know, I'm sure you're very scared, and the best way to become unscared is become friends with the seller. So enough of that. Now, once I walk around, I see everything, you know, I build as much rapport as possible. I ask the seller where they feel comfortable sitting down, you know, and so we could go over the numbers. And I allow them to go pick the position they feel comfortable. Now where I think I should sit down, you know, maybe they have this comfortable chair, maybe, who knows, guys, ask them, okay? They're in charge, all right? So when the seller allocates the location they want to sit down, what I do is I do my very, very, very best to sit right next to them, adjacent to them, okay? I don't want to sit across from them, okay? Why do I want to do that? Because it just builds more rapport, more credibility, okay? I don't want to be far from them, you know. I want to be their friend because I am their friend. I'm there to help them out and create a win-win situation for both of us, okay? So I sit right next to them. And before I even go into my offer, I like to do a couple of things, you know. The first thing is I let them know that I really, really want to buy their home. Okay, simple, guys. I tell them, hey, I really want to buy their home. You know, I'm already here. You know, I drove all the way out here because I want to buy their home. If I didn't want to buy their home, I wouldn't take out time out of my busy life to come out here. Okay. And before I even spit out any numbers or start negotiation or anything like that, what I do is, you know, I help the seller, you know, tune into why they called me originally, which is basically their problem, okay? Because at this time they're thinking about numbers, they're becoming logical, you know, and like I said, we only deal with motivated sellers, so, you know, it's okay if they're logical, but they need to understand that why are they in the situation they are in and why did they call us, because that's the real reason they called us, because 97%, you know, changes of all houses in America are sold to realtors. So there's got to be something, a problem that the seller is motivated. So I help them realize that, you know. And how do I know what their problem is? Well, I've been already probing and asking them open-ended question from the first time they called me. I spent 30-45 minutes talking to them, to I'm at their house and I spend as long as it takes talking to them to build rapport with them. And at this time, you know, I really know what the symptoms are. I already diagnosed the problem, and I've already have multiple solutions because I've given you those offers on step number 2, so you're ready to rock and roll, okay? And so what am I saying? You want to help the seller realize why they called you, what and why the problem is before you give them the offer, okay? Once you help them realize what the problem is, the next thing I go into is a series of yes questions, okay? Because I want them to be positive before I give them the offer. I don't want them to be negative, because the first reaction of anything is basically no, you know. Let me give you a good example, okay, guys? All right. I like making money and I like to give my money away, okay? And one day I was in my house, somebody knocked, and I don't eat canned food, you know, for some reason my mom had brought me a bunch of canned food that I don't want, okay? I don't even eat meat because I'm vegetarian. So there was a knock, and there was 2 kids and a parent. And I opened the door, I was frustrated because I was working, and I opened the door, and the people asked me, hey, do you want to volunteer some canned food? And the first thing that came out of my mouth was no. Okay, the first thing, I mean, it was just like the most, unfortunately, the most easiest thing, you know, is what I realized is people, you know, instead of to think or anything, it's just no. And then I said no, and then I realized, hey, you know, I have a bunch of canned food that I don't even eat, and this is such a great opportunity because I don't have to throw it in the trash, but I just realized that was just a enlightened thing, that I realized that this is why sellers are so hesitant to say no to us, is because the easiest thing to do is say no, okay? So let's go back off the canned food example and go back and dive into what we're talking about. So before I give them the offer, I want to polarize them positive. I want to make them positive, and therefore I ask them a series of yes questions, okay? What do I mean by series of yes questions? Well, I asked the seller, hey, Mr. Jones, do you want to sell your house fast? If that was one of the problems that he or she said, then that was one of the things I bring out. And Mr. Jones is going to say, of course, yes, I do want to sell it fast. Well, Mr. Jones, do you want me to pay for your closing cost? Yes. Do you want me to give you a free move? Yes. Okay, see, now I already have set up 3 positive yeses from the seller, so I've changed his attitude from no into yes. Now he's getting easier to flow with the yes, 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 okay? So once that happens, the next thing I do is go into what I call my superhero closing, okay? And now, it sounds funny, and the reason it's superhero is because it's not a sales pitch, it's not no tactic. I really truly go in there and I educate the seller on all his options. Every option under the moon and the stars, guys. Okay? And the reason I do that is because, hey, I want to help the seller out. I want to take the time out and explain all his options because most people don't do that. Okay. I think I'm having a technical. Okay, everything's okay. So most people are not going to do that. Most investors are not going to do that. Or most real estate professionals or attorneys and things of that nature, they're only going to give them this one aspect of it. You know, where I want to give them all of it, you know, even if I can't make any money from it. For example, if if an option is for them to do bankruptcy, or an option for them is to do just do a deed in lieu, I'll give them all their options, every single option available to them. Okay, and then I ask them, which one of these options do you lean towards, Mr. Seller? And he or she's going to tell me, okay, hey, I like option number 2 and 7. Okay, and I'll go with that. I'm not gonna force the seller. If the seller is a square, I'm not gonna, you know, force them to fit into a triangle, guys. It just doesn't make sense, you know. It doesn't make sense, you know. So my job, you know, as being, you know, doing sales since high school, is one thing I've learned is that you can't change somebody. You can't force somebody to do something they don't want to do. And so the best way to get a deal is to educate people. Okay, if you educate them, you give them all the information. That way, you're allowing them to make an educated decision on which route they want to go with, and they could research it further and verify the information you have said is true, and it's going to make them have even more trust and credibility in you. Okay, so instead of going there and say, "Here's my cash offer," and give them a bunch of sales, high pressure sales, it may work for other people. Have I done it before? Man, when I was younger, but it just doesn't work for me. I like to be a superhero. I like to go out there and the seller to remember me for the rest of their life. When they call me, I know their story. You know, I don't care if I did the deal 3 years ago. I still remember them. And so that's the kind of relationships I like to build. Okay, guys. But that's just me. I'm gonna give you what I do, and you guys, if you have better things to do, I highly recommend to modify it and make it your own. But so, going back to the story is that build report, tell them you want to buy the house, ask them a series of yes questions. All right. Once you do that, then you go into the offers. All right. You're going to give the seller multiple offers, and then you're going to ask them which one are they going to lean towards. Okay. And you're going to explain each offer. You're just not going to say bam, 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 bam. You're going to explain each offer. All right. Now, I know you guys are gonna be able to get these deals on the contract. So the next step is, once you give them the offer, you ask them which one they're gonna lean with. You're gonna go ahead and close with that, and then you're gonna put it on the contract, guys. Okay, which is step number 5. Under contract. All right, guys. This is the whole reason why you win there. Don't forget that. All right. Now, out of 10 students, myself included, you know, this is always the hardest thing, you know, in any sales, okay, is what I call asking for the money, okay? When you ask somebody, hey, pay me now. It was very hard. When I was younger in high school, in college, you know, did some personal training, you know, for quite a while, and what I've learned was that, man, at first it was very hard to ask for the closing, but once I practiced, failed, maneuver, change around my tactics, you know, I learned that educating the buyer is the best way, and then you just ask for the money, because majority of the times they're ready to say, hey, let's go ahead and sign up, okay? So, but 9 out of 10 students are going to have the hiccup here, and they're not going to ask for the money because it's going to be very hard for them, okay? And what is asking for money? In this case, we're not even asking for money. All we're going to do is just pull up a sales agreement, and they fill it out. Now, whenever you're at the seller's house, you got to make sure that you're not using negative connotated words, okay? What I mean, for example, is you don't want to say contract. You want to say sales agreement, okay? Or real estate purchase agreement, okay? This contract just has a negative connotation to it, where, you know, purchase, like, oh, I'm going to sell my house. So, you know, just little things like that is what's going to make somebody a better salesperson compared to somebody that's going to struggle, guys, just using the long words. It's really not wrong, but it has a negative connotation to it. Now, after you put the house under contract, so many people get so happy and they don't do number 6, okay? And you know they got to make a second trip, you know, and you don't want to do that because time is money. You got more deals to work with, okay? So number 6 thing is you're gonna take pictures and video. Guys, if you don't have a smartphone, shame on you. All right, invest it. Don't even want to be a real estate investor if you can get a smartphone, man, because technology is going so fast, and if you're not up with it, all right. So you need to take pictures and video. Okay. Now, I could do a video. I'll do a video on how to take pictures and videos, but quickly, you know, you need as many pictures as possible of the house, from the front, from the backyard, you know, and then you want 2 types of pictures, guys. One for our buyers that may be investors or retail buyers. It doesn't matter. Okay, so these ones are going to be the pretty ones, okay? You know, are we going to show some problems that the house has? That the house has problems? Yes, okay? But they're going to be the prettier ones, okay? Now, B, you're going to need pictures for me and you, so we could go and coach each other, and I can hold your hand and explain to you, okay, this is what the repairs are, this is what needs to be done. So these are the problem areas that me and you're only going to see, in the sense of that, like the worst of the worst. Well, you're going to zoom in and you're going to get the worst of the picture, so me and you are able to discuss it, and I can help you guys estimate repairs, okay? So basically, you're going to take 2 types of pictures. Majority of your pictures are going to be for your buyers, if they're investors or retail buyers, and a few pictures for the construction repair costs. So when we wholesale these out, or if we fix them, flip them, things of that nature, we know what's going to cost, okay? So us pictures. Alright guys, don't forget about the video. Once you take the pictures, do video. You know, start from the front, walk your way back. Now some people ask me, should I talk in there? Some people ask me, you know, should I say nothing? It just all depends on you, okay? If you like to talk, go ahead and talk. If you don't want to talk, then don't talk, okay? It all depends on what you want to do, okay guys? So that answers that question. I've heard that a few times. Alright, one thing I want to tell you about the picture taking is that, guys, if you're going to take a picture of the house, don't get square from it, because there's no depth. What you want to do is, at the very minimum, you want to have an angle so there's depth, so they can see the side and the front. So you want to get the side. And the front of the house is very, very important, one of the pictures, okay? So don't forget that. Alright, so this is module number 3. The next thing we're going to talk about is module number 4, which is basically, now that you have this house under contract, what are you going to do next? Okay guys, so thanks for watching. This is Mike with Mr. Investor, and this is the Real Estate Dojo. Okay, go out there, be hungry, make it happen for yourself, guys. You know, you work hard.